So they came back into the car and they took me back to where I lived. They dropped me off. My husband was not in that car. He had already gone with the people taking him to wherever they said they were taking him to. And I got back. I just went into the room and I was like, what just happened? And my husband's clothes were still in the closet. His things were still lying everywhere. He was able to take out some clothes without my knowledge, but most of the things were still there. So that kind of gave me a little bit of comfort. I said, okay, maybe he'll come back. But it was terrible. It was horrible. A few days later, I realized that I have some of my suitcase in that house, in their house in Baltimore, because they invited me to come stay there. So I had my suitcase with my clothes inside. So I called them and I said I wanted to come pick up my suitcase, and they told me, no, you can't touch anything. You can't even come into this house. Our brother, they stopped calling him my husband. Our brother will bring your clothes to you whenever he visits. And I said, no, I need those clothes. I need them. I need to wash them. And they refused. So fortunately, or should I say unfortunately, my husband called like about 3 weeks later, and he was like, I'm sorry for what I did. I'm sorry. Everything was under the influence of alcohol. I said, when did you even start drinking? What was the reason for that drink that day? What were you drinking that day? He said, no, I was just stressed. My brothers have said a lot to me and I didn't want to know how to face you, so that I just had to do that too. I said, anyways, I want to go pick up my clothes from your brothers. And they said I can't come. So are you coming this way? Can you bring my clothes to me? He said, okay, yes, I'll bring your clothes. So he went there and got the clothes together and told me he was there. I should go pick them up. So I went there and I was able to pick up my suitcases and I came back to my rented place. So like a couple of weeks later, he called me, said, you know what? I'm really, really sorry for what I did. I feel so bad and I want us to just come back together. Just forget whatever happened. I'm sorry. And when I come back this time, we're going to just stay on our own. No more connection with our family. We have nothing to do with them. We'll stay for the few weeks left and we'll go back. That sounded like a plan, a good one. So I accepted. So a few days later, he came back and he was all apologetic and, so it was like pleading and begging. And I believe that he was back for good. But few days after, he started telling me, oh, I want to go back to Togo to just go pick up some stuff and then talk to the boys and rearrange the business. And I said, no, we have like few weeks to go back. So why don't you go back at the same time? Okay, let's just go back now. If you feel like you need to go home, let's just go. Then I still have like maybe, we were there for this was like 3 months after we got there. So we still have like 3 months more on the visa. But it was a 3 years visa for me. He had 5 years business visa. So he had a lot of time. But just for that period of stay, we only have like 6 months. So I said, okay, when are you going? He said, I'm going next week. So next week came and the D-Day came. And the stupid thing I did then was I didn't even ask to show me his tickets or anything. I am this type of woman that doesn't really look at anything. I can be friends with a man. I can have a relationship and I will for 20 years and I will not touch the man's phone. Up to now, I don't touch anybody's phone. I don't touch phones. Even my children's phones. You know how parents will go into the children's phones and start looking and searching? I don't, because I don't want to see what will hurt me. So I don't search even my children's phones. So I don't ask a lot of questions either. I'm saying this so that people will learn. I never asked questions. So immediately he said he was going home. I said, okay. I didn't ask, show me your ticket. I didn't say anything. So that day he said his flight was in the afternoon. And then I had started going to somewhere in the mornings. I was bored at home. So I used to go to my friend's place. My friend had a braiding store. I used to go there and while away my time and also braid because I know how to braid. And I also had a small thing I was managing on the side. So I was going to go to work that day. So I said, do you want me to, just call off and see you to the airport? He said, no, don't worry. If you miss the day's pay is going to affect, he just gave one stupid excuse, which should have woken me up that day, but I took it as it's nothing. So I said, which suitcase do you want and what do you want me to pack? He said, just pack me one shirt, one pant, underwear, boxer, and maybe one singlet and maybe a pair of shoes. I said, okay. That was what I did. I packed these things into the smallest suitcase in the house and we bade ourselves goodbye and I left for where I was going to. I came back in the evening, and once I opened the door, I knew something had happened. As soon as I opened the door, everything that belonged to him was gone. Gone. So what happened is that this man came back so he could pack his things. So I was so confused. I checked everything was gone, down to flip-flops. Everything was gone. Toothbrush, everything gone. I said, okay. So, back then in 2002, making calls was not that easy. So you have to use a calling card and all that stuff. So I just waited for him to call me. So eventually, after a few days, he called me. And I said, what happened? Why did you pack all your stuff? He said, oh, I packed them because I felt like when I get to Togo, I'll just give them to people and come back. When I come back, I can buy more things before we go back. And that sounded okay to me. Once again, ladies, men, learn. So it sounded okay to me. So I said, okay. And he stayed back for like a month, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I kept asking him at a point during this time, I fell sick from that pregnancy. I felt very sick. And I was diagnosed, and I should say it's mixed diagnosis, but I was diagnosed then. The doctor told me I had cancer. So towards that time I was waiting for him, I fell ill, so I had to go to the doctor. And with this announcement, I decided to extend my visa so that I can at least take care of myself here before I went back home. So he telling me that he was going to stay back was not a problem to me. So I told him about the problem I had, and he was like, everything is going to be okay. When I come back, we'll go back. Just make sure you take all your treatments so that everything will be fine. I said, okay. So I waited and waited. Towards the 7th month of my pregnancy, I became very, very sick again. And I went back to the doctor again. And it was the same thing. It was at that point they were telling me, ma'am, do you have any family here who can keep this baby for you? Because it seems that you're going to be going to the hospital for treatment after the baby is born. So start to make arrangements, because we don't think you can take care of the baby with the treatment and everything. So I went back to these people that I used to live with, because by then I had left their house. That's the story for another day. I had moved up from that place, but I still kept in touch. So I called them and I said, this is what is going on. I need someone to help me. Can you help me? She said, oh, no, she can't. And I started asking everybody that I knew. I'm new in America. I was new, so I didn't know much people. It got to a point I started going to the African store. I would stand at the door and I would see random couple. My target then was elderly people. So I'll see elderly people and I'll go to them and I'll tell them my story. My husband is gone back and I'm sick. I'm going to be delivering this baby soon, and this is what the doctors are suggesting. I'm just looking for a Nigerian couple who can hold on to this baby. Excuse me. And the question everybody always asked was, where is your husband? And I told them he went home. He'll soon be back, but I don't know when he's going to be back. It's like I'm almost due. He's not here. So I'm trying to make plans in case I give birth before he comes back. Nobody was willing to help me. One day I was braiding a lady's hair and she said, oh, I have this flyer to share, because she knew I was a new person in America and I may need immigration, whatever. So she said, oh, there's this flyer. This is a lawyer. He's an immigration lawyer. In case you have immigration problem, he's a very good person, blah, blah, blah. And they gave me a flyer. When I looked at the flyer, it was a Nigerian man. And the everything written about him seemed okay. I said, okay, let me just go and do the extension. So that was what took me to this Nigerian lawyer. And when I got there, I paid him. I used to say in my former story that it was $650, but I saw the check. Then those days when you pay somebody with check, the check will come back to you. So I saw the check a few weeks ago when I was cleaning up, and the check is I think it was for $300, but I paid him $150. That was the check I saw, and then I couldn't find the second check, so I made 2 payments because I paid him $150 that day, and I told him I was going to balance up in 2 weeks, and it was okay with him. And after 2 weeks, I paid him. So after my extension came through, this man suddenly showed up in my house one evening around 7:30 p.m. Somebody knocked. I was renting this house from a Chinese man. We were like 5 tenants in there. I was the only woman, and most of the men go to work at night. So most of the evenings I'm alone in the house. So I heard the doorbell. I went to look at the door and I saw him standing. I couldn't recognize him because this was like after over 3 months of doing my extension. So I couldn't recognize who it was. And then he said, oh, you don't remember me? He said, I said, oh yes, I remember you now. How are you, sir? And we exchanged pleasantries, and he came into the house. We talked, and I was like, how did you even know here? He said, oh, you forgot that I did your extension, so I know your address. And that was a red flag. I should have just cut this man off at that point, because how would you just visit someone without even calling the person that you're coming? But anyways, being me, I accepted it. I just let it go. And he spent few minutes, I think about 45 minutes or an hour. We had a long chat. We just talked about everything, and he left. That was the first visit. After that, we started talking on the phone. And when this pressure from my doctors became much, I decided to confide in him. And he was like, oh, I didn't even know you were pregnant, because then nobody would know I was pregnant. I was just, you would just think I'm just like that. I'm just big. So, oh, I didn't know. I said, yes, I'm pregnant, and, I'm married, and this and this and this. So, oh, I didn't know. I didn't know. I say, yes. But this is the situation I'm in right now. I need a Nigerian couple that can help me take care of my baby. I've been looking for people, but I don't know much people. So since you've been here for a long time, can you find someone that can help me when I have the baby, so the baby can stay with them until I'm back from the hospital for my treatment? He said, okay, I'll think about, I'll look around for it. And some weeks later, he called me and he was like, first of all, let me ask you about your husband. Do you have his passport number? I said, yes. And I gave him over the phone. And he called me back few days later, and he was like, your husband never traveled to Nigeria or Togo. Your husband is still here in the US. And he gave me the address of where my husband was staying. He gave me the telephone number. And I was asked, I said, how did you know all this? He said, because after you told me your story, I had to research. And this is what I found out. And I'm like, okay. So he said, if you don't mind, maybe one of these days, if you can come to the office, we'll put a call through to him and let's see what he has to say. And I didn't know what this man was doing at this time. This man was trying to secure the bag. He was trying to make sure that my husband was really out of my life. He was trying to make sure that, he could, manipulate and, just get into me without my suspicion. So I went to his office few days down the line, like a day or two down the line, because I was eager to find out these things. So we put a call through to my husband, through the number he provided. And true to the fact, my husband picked up the phone. It was his voice, no doubt about that. And he said, we're looking for so and so person. Is this so and so person? And immediately he changed his voice. No, that's not him. That's not him. And that was when I chipped in. I said, is that not you? I said, is that the Togo you're supposed to be in? I said, what is really going on? Why are you still in America? And where are you? And he quickly turned off the phone. He hung up. We tried calling back. He never picked up again. You know why he didn't want to talk? Because his family already linked him up with a lady who was going to do his immigration stuff. So he didn't want any connection again with me whatsoever. He didn't want to talk to me or anything. So that's why he quickly turned off the phone, tried to disconnect from me. So I kept calling that number. He would not pick up. He would not pick up. At the point, the number went dead. So which means he changed the number. So when this man now realized that I really have no husband, I was by myself, he wrote me a letter, a very lengthy letter, telling me how bad he feels, how it's not good, for how what the man did was bad, how I should be very careful, how I should mind myself, that he's going to be there for me like a big brother. He's going to always make sure I'm fine. I should just take care of myself so that I don't get more sick. Very nice letter. And he signed your brother, your friend. I think he said your friend or your brother. And that letter was very consoling to me at that point. So a few days after that letter, he now called me and said, oh, by the way, I got my sister and she's ready to help you. So he said, by the way, I got my sister. I told her about you and she's ready to help you. So he passed the phone to the sister. They were there together, obviously, because the woman came on the line immediately. I was like, oh, how are you? How are you doing? God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Oh, God, wonderful, wonderful. I was just shocked hearing about you. I'm so sorry for what you're going through. Listen, I'm going to be your sister. I'm going to be there for you. I will take care of the baby. Whenever you're back, I will give you back the baby. I just felt so sorry. So sorry that you're going through this. What else can suit a woman hurting? So her voice was so soothing that night. She sounded so good that I just fell in love with her. And this is how I started talking with this woman. Not almost. We were talking every night. She would come back from work and call me. Oh, I just came back from work, and we'll talk for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. It became a ritual. It became an expectation for me every evening. So whenever she comes back, she will call me. And each time she calls, this woman will pray and speak in tongues. I'm not talking about la 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 ba ba ba. I mean the chronic tongue speaking, the conk one, that one that pastors will speak and you will feel like they're talking to God.